Hi, everybody. It's Carrie Donegan. We're getting ready now for radical age reversal. So I hope you join us and we'll see you very soon. Get that cup of tea and something to write with because we're going to go through a lot of material today pretty fast, but I think it's going to be good. Our topic today is called Hold on. I'm going to bring in our Win-Win Women audience. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carrie Donegan, and you're watching Radical Age Reversal, where we help you increase your health span while your lifespan is increasing. So let's get started. Today, we're talking about boosting our brain. Now, many of us have experienced a loved one, a friend, a neighbor, a coworker who for no plan of their own, ended up with memory loss, perhaps dementia, perhaps Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's disease. These diseases are on the rise. And I remember when I would read these ancient novels or these old folk stories or fairy tales, there was always that wise sage, right? The elder statesman, the person who was the oracle of all knowledge. And that individual was usually someone well into their 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. So, what has changed today? Why is it that in modern times, when we see people aging, their capacity for knowledge and wisdom is actually declining and not increasing? Wouldn't it stand to reason that our bodies were built to actually accumulate knowledge and pass that knowledge on to future generations? So, how did our brains break down? Or more importantly, how can we build them up? So today we're going to talk about brain boosters specifically. In the next episode, I'm going to actually dial deeper into specific essential oils that you can use. Now, don't worry, you know I love essential oils, and I will give you three essential oils to use right away, a combination of blends that I love. So you're getting more than just three oils, of course. But I'm also going to talk to you about supplements, and I'm going to kick this off by introducing a book that was given to me by a lovely stranger in a grocery store, believe it or not. I think that sometimes God puts people in your life for multiples of reasons, and I could do an entire show on this encounter that I've had with this lovely man, John. So, big shout out to John for introducing me to this book. Now, I have been a fan of Dr. Amon's for a long time, but I've never read this book. And here's what I love about it. It's a short, fast read. So I recommend that you go to your library, or if you want to invest in it, grab one from your bookstore and go ahead and take what is going to be his brain test. Now, these tests are free, which I think is really cool and very generous of him. Like so many of us, he also has a supplement line that he wants to introduce you to. But for those of you who are fans of doTERRA, I'm going to give you the doTERRA equivalent of some of the information that he is providing us. So let's talk a little bit, and we're going to go through this book, I think, a lot because I think he has a lot to say. But today I wanted to talk about knowing your brain type. Okay. And then the supplements that I'm going to give you are good for all brain types. But I think as you dial into which type of brain you have, you may want to lean heavier on certain supplements than others. I do recommend that you take all of these if possible. There are three sets we're going to talk about. So nine supplements in total, which, oh my gosh, you may say, that sounds like a lot to take, Carrie. And I understand that. So for some of you, you may want to spread this out. For some of you, you may want to dial in to what specifically seems to be your need at the current time. My big order when it comes to supplementation or any natural change, or really any change at all, is that you must give this 90 days. If you're not ready to commit to a 90-day plan to improve your brain and to boost it and protect it so that you're not going to end up with any of the issues that I talked about at the beginning of the show, then you're not going to get the results that we're talking about here. Your brain didn't break down slowly. It did break down slowly. I mean, your brain broke down slowly over time. It's not going to build up quickly overnight. So make sure you understand this is a journey and not a quick fix. So let's get into it. This is On page 16, for anyone who may have, oh, you know what? I don't think I hit record. Am I hitting record now? Let's see, record to the cloud. Okay, maybe I did. We're going to start over. Sorry for the YouTube audience. Anyway, we're going through this book slowly but surely, and we're going to show you how to boost your brain. So I think this is going to be fun. Okay, page 16. What makes you happy? To answer these questions, it's critical to know your brain type. So there are 5 brain types. 1 is balanced, 2 is spontaneous, 3 is persistent, 4 is sensitive, and 5 is cautious. So let's go through what each of them looks like. Now try to listen for what resonates with you. The balanced brain. If you have a balanced brain type, then you are focused, flexible, emotionally stable individual. You show up on time for meetings, you do what you say, and say what you do. You don't like to take big risks and prefer to follow the rules. You're not the type to color outside the lines. Your coping skills are formidable, and you know how to go with the flow. Balanced types don't struggle with acting impulsively. They think about the consequences of their actions and are equipped with inner 5-second delay that keeps them from blurting out inappropriate comments. In addition, they're not the sort to mope around the house all day long. Optimists at heart, they see the glass as half full. Eating a balanced diet, exercising regularly, engaging in meditation or prayer, getting massages, and generally taking care of themselves and their brain are essential. You can support this brain type by taking a really good broad spectrum multivitamin, which with doTERRA would be called the VMZ. VMZ, that's what we would take, okay? And a strong mineral complex, which we're going to talk about today, which is called Bone Nutrient, as well as omegas, which is called X-Omega or Z-Omega, depending on how you want to pronounce it, and the vitamin D. And the vitamin D we're also going to get from Bone Nutrient and VMZ. And this will help with cognition in older adults. Okay, so that's brain type number 1, balanced. If that's you, then those supplements are super, super key for you. Bone Nutrient, VMZ, just lifelong vitality. I would say lifelong vitality, which is VMZ, alpha CRS, and bone nutrient. And omegas plus the bone nutrient. Okay, lifelong vitality plus bone nutrient. All right, the spontaneous brain. Spontaneous brain types can be the life of the party. They are the ones who love trying new things, getting a thrill from skydiving, bungee jumping, and are willing to walk away from a secure job to throw the dice and start their own business. Restless and easily distracted. They need to be highly interested, excited, or stimulated in what they're doing if they're going to focus on a task in front of them. They think like firefighters, race car drivers. Organization can be a struggle for them too. I can almost guarantee you that they won't show up on time for anything. Smokers and heavy coffee drinkers tend to fit this type as they see these substances to turn their brain on. Brain type 2 can be associated with lower levels of dopamine, which may cause people to be more restless and willing to take needless risks. In order to make dopamine, your body needs tyrosine, which can be found in almonds, bananas, avocados, eggs, bean, fish, chicken, and dark chocolate. No, dark chocolate seems to balance all brain types and increase happiness. So people like this, I'm going to talk to about adaptive, copaiba, turmeric, in addition to lifelong vitality. So these are people whose brains are really struggling with dopamine, right? Maybe they've had addictions in their lifetime, which have lowered their dopamine sensitivity. Maybe they just have a hard time producing dopamine as it is. They seek outside thrills to get that dopamine level up. So we're going to help them get it through natural means. The persistent brain. If you have the persistent brain type, you like to get up in the morning and attack the day. You want to get things done, checking off items on your to-do list as you complete each task. You refuse to take no for an answer. And you go through life with a my way or the highway attitude. This is why others may see you as argumentative. You thrive when things go your way, but you're bent out of shape when something unexpected happens. You have trouble adjusting on the fly. You may be a worrier and you have trouble letting go of past hurts. Persistent types are often associated with lower levels of serotonin, which leads to struggles with obsessions, compulsions, boosting serotonin levels, which is also associated with a better mood. You need to increase your intake of tryptophan. Now, you're going to get this by using the Serenity sleep system at night. Okay. So, if this is your brain type, you absolutely need the Serenity sleep system. Foods such as turkey, chicken, and fish, carrots, blueberries, pumpkin seeds, sweet potatoes, garbanzo beans help drive tryptophan into the brain where serotonin is made. I also would recommend the adaptive system. Okay. So if this is you, you're a persistent brain type, you need these systems, the adaptive system and the Serenity system. You could use adaptive system in the morning and Serenity system at night. It's a really great way to get the balance that you need. Be aware of caffeine and diet pills, as they tend to worsen the negative traits in a persistent people because this brain type does not need more stimulation. Okay. You need to calm the brain. Now, the sensitive brain. Are you an emotional sponge, absorbing others, feeling your own body? Then there's a strong chance you're sensitive. You have a way of sensing and feeling emotions that many people are not capable of. Because of your brain type, someone else's pain and happiness becomes part of your pain and happiness, part of your experience. Sensitive people typically shy away from crowds. Their idea of a lovely Sunday afternoon is more likely to involve a book of poetry, a quiet walk through a deserted forest, or traipsing through an uncrowded park or nature reserve. Sensitive people are the happiest when they can chill out. They would rather spend a quiet night at home than meet dozens of friends at a crowded pizzeria. They aren't usually fans of small talk and they prefer to dive deeper with people. They don't want to be scheduled all the time, preferring some wiggle room or unplanned gaps in their days. A long shower and plenty of time to get ready is heaven to sensitives. So is having time to write in a personal journal or spend time with a book that recharges their spiritual batteries. Okay, so what do those people need? This group of people is going to absolutely need lifelong vitality. It's super important that they also take adaptive and Serenity together at night. We want to make sure that their mood is uplifted and they feel included in the community. Although it is good for certain people to have quiet time, in fact, it's good for all of us to have quiet time. Being too reclusive, too removed from a community can also be really hard on your brain, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, the cautious brain. If you are a cautious brain type, you have high standards for yourself and others. You analyze issues in great detail before taking action, and you are thorough and reliable. When you say you'll do something, you do it and you do it well. Security, safety, and predictability are important to you, but you often look to the future with trepidation. But when you are wrapped up in the future, it means that you are missing out on the present and live with a baseline level of anxiety, which creates misery. This is my brain type, actually. Feeling a lack of control is a sticking point for many cautious types. They are more vulnerable to panic attacks, so pay attention when you start to sink into the worst case scenario. Don't allow anxiety to take charge, put an immediate halt to rising anxious thoughts with a deep breath so you can reassess the situation. Take nice, relaxing baths, which I do every night with my essential oils of lavender and ylang-ylang and Serenity. Enjoy a cup of chamomile tea. Those of you who know me, I always have my Earl Grey tea, which is my daytime version of chamomile tea. Otherwise, I'd be asleep. And spend 20 minutes in quiet prayer or meditation, which is the way I start my entire day, in quiet prayer and meditation, and watch all that stress melt away. now that you know your brain type, let's talk about what you can do to minimize things. And so I can share with you what I am doing every day that I feel is really helping. But the most important, I guess I'll give you the cautious brain type important things. You must have your omegas. It's critically important that you have your omegas for that anxiety piece. You must have your adaptive because that's going to raise your GABA, also help with the anxiety piece. If you feel anxious, go grab another adaptive. You're not going to do any harm by adding GABA into your life. And I'm going to break these 5 brain types down even more. I think this is fascinating research, and I think it's important for us to know our brain types. We seem to know our body types, right? This is the way I lose weight. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. This skincare works for me. This hair care works for me. What about our brains? What is actually working for you with your brain? All right, I'm going to do a super quick run through of what I think is absolutely critical. If your goal, remember when I said when we're growing up instead of growing old, we have to have a goal in mind. We can't just go lazily, mamby-pamby, kind of through life, whatever happens, happens. No, 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 no. If you don't establish a goal of a healthy brain, you're not going to have a healthy brain. We know this statistically. People are aging without healthy brains. Brains are deteriorating faster and faster. So if your goal isn't to increase your brain power, then society is actually telling you that your brain power is actually going to diminish. So here's what we're going to do. I always like to start with essential oils. Sometimes this is the easiest thing to do, but the supplementation is the foundation of your health. So don't minimize that. It's food. This is food as medicine. Okay. So I'm going to give you a really fun routine that I love that I think works on all brain types and is really one that's good for preventing aging, an aging brain. Now, I really, really like threes. I like to do everything in threes. I think it's manageable. I think it's balanced. It's this, a pyramid is the strongest structure. Things in threes are easy to memorize, and multiples of three. So I really like 3, but if something else works for you, fine. But I'm presenting these in groups of 3. The first one is going to be motivate. Now you can get this in a roll-on, but I like the strength of using the essential oil out of the bottle because you're also going to stimulate your olfactory system. Because remember, your olfactory system, which connects your nose way up into your brain, right? So when you use an essential oil for your brain, make sure you're inhaling it. So put it in your hands, rub it around, get all those molecules active and happy. Breathe it in. And then if you have enough on your fingers, if you don't, go ahead, put on more. But the idea is you're going to rub your temples, cross the hemispheres of your brain. Okay. And I really am enjoying and finding a lot of benefit by rubbing behind my ears and here in front. Do you know people are getting like hearing loss as they're aging? I don't think we stimulate our ears as much as we should. Just think about it. Your ears kind of like do a lot of work, but they just hang out on the side of your head. And I'm not sure we give them all the attention they need. So I'm going to teach you another thing. Your forefinger and your thumb, okay, here, just like this. And what I want you to do, I'm going to move my hair so you can see, is you're just going to take your ears and you're going to do a little massage. You can either do like a little press and pull, or you can do little circles, but we want to stimulate those ears. Now, I know a lot of people are really into lots of piercing of the ears, which I'm not sure why, but just remember you have lots and lots of pressure points in these ears, lots of acupuncture points. Don't minimize that. And then this is a really important part of your body. You're going to stimulate that. Okay, next one, Shinrin Yoku. This is calming. This is going to help us to refocus, right? To be able to absorb more information, to stimulate our hippocampus. So again, palms, ready? Inhale, right? Just like walking through a forest, taking a mental break. Rub it on your temples. I'm going to get some more. I don't mind using a lot of essential oils. Some people are like, oh, too much, too much. That's up to you. I am a lover of essential oils. I have always been a heavy user. It depends on who you are. So this way, I guess if you're, and I'm a cautious brain type, so there you go. But not cautious about this. And then behind my ears, I'm not going to spend as much time as I would stimulating here around my ears. And you know what? Maybe I'll even take off my earrings because get your earlobes. Take those oils and really massage, pull down on your ears, right? Get all of that lymph flowing. Get all those toxins out. Remember, your brain has something called the glymphatic system, and the glymphatic system drains when you get a really good night's sleep. So you must take that Serenity system. I have been waking up in the morning, unfortunately, to an alarm clock because you should wake up naturally, but my schedule doesn't permit it. But I literally feel like I woken up like a dead person. Like I'm in such a beautiful deep sleep, which I haven't gotten since I was a teenager. Thank you, doTERRA, for that sleep system. Amazing. Okay, last one. And I want you to use them in this order: Motivate, Shinrin-yoku, and excuse me, past tense. Okay, so we're going to take the past tense. And same thing. Let's do palm here because this one's so good. It has basil in it, and it's going to give you a calm but stimulated kind of brain feeling. Motivate has rosemary in it, which is great for memory. I love using the blends because you're getting so much more and you don't have to sit there with thousands of bottles for hours and hours, which you're not going to do. Let's just face it, you're not going to do that. So just take this, right? Oops, did I do Shinrin-yoku again? I don't know what I did. Doesn't matter. So past tense. Did I show you the bottle? It's a really cool bottle. Ta-da. It's also really good for tension, for headaches, for, that kind of like anxious brain, worry, anxiety. Yeah. And it's great to go and get a professional massage, but, can't do that 3 or 4 times a day. This you can do 3 or 4 times a day. Okay. Wonderful. All right. That's beautiful. You're going to feel totally different after those 3 oils. Just those 3 oils. Get into a habit. Get into a habit. Like for me, maybe I'm going to do this before I put my earrings on. I'm going to say, oh, I got to get those oils on my face before I put my makeup on. Put it by my toothbrush, whatever it is. Just, the past tense does have some peppermint and wintergreen eucalyptus in it, I think. And so there's a lot of strong mentholated fumes, which may make you cry a little bit. So, make sure you kind of keep it away from the eyes. That's going to help a lot. All right, let's get into supplementation. We've been talking a lot about the gut. Remember, we call the gut, what is it? The second brain. Very good. Okay, we call the gut the second brain. And the second brain needs to be taken care of as much as the first brain. So I'm going to give you a super simple system to do that. Number 1, when you eat, you're going to take these 2 products. You're going to take 1 MetaPower Assist, which is going to balance your blood sugar so you don't get those huge insulin spikes that are going to make your brain crazy, huge cortisol spikes that are going to make your brain crazy. Okay, this is wonderful, part of the MetaPower system. And you're going to take a PB Restore, which is going to restore the microbiome. This is going to set the foundation for really good gut health and restore your gut brain and the gut brain axis. Then after you eat, you're going to take 1 to 3 Terrazyme, and that's going to help pull out the nutrients in your food, break them down effectively and efficiently so you don't get any of your food actually fermenting and rotting in your gut, which can produce toxins. If you eat too late, if you eat too much sugar, if you don't have broken down foods, you can actually get toxins from your own foods, even if they're healthy. And of course, if they're not healthy, forget that. But can actually start to create something that's negative instead of something that's positive. So remember things like eating windows, give yourself 3 hours before you go to sleep, clear out your stomach, drink that chamomile tea, take a little drop, 1 drop of chamomile essential oil and hot water. I like to add bergamot in there as well. Great way to go to bed at night. You do not need to snack at night because you're going to sleep. Food is for energy. Let's think. When I'm eating, am I building a better brain or am I doing something that is momentarily pleasant but has long-term negative effects? Okay, ask yourself these questions. It's okay for you to talk to yourself if you need to. Next, foundational support every day. Now I'm going to tell you what I do. These are the supplements I take at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. These are my bookend supplements because I feel like I need them both while I'm awake and while I'm asleep because they're going to actually do something positive during both of those systems. When you're awake, your body is fully functioning and alive, with a lot of digestion, a lot of energy expenditure, not a lot of detox. At night, your body is actually recharging, regrouping, eliminating toxins, managing different things. So that's the difference. Okay, ready? I'm going to say 2, 2, and 2. This is the Noah's Ark of your supplement plan. So 2, bone nutrient, because you need the minerals for your balance. And for brain health, you need the vitamin D and the K. Alpha CRS, because you're going to get things like ginkgo biloba. That's going to give your brain lots of focus and memory. It's going to increase the memory, right? No dementia, no park. We don't want that. But how many people put ginkgo into their daily routine nowadays? Not a lot. I don't think, not a lot. All right. And then the omegas. We get so many of the other omegas. We need the good omegas. So get those good omegas. And for my vegan, vegetarian friends, there's nothing like fish oil. We have a vegetarian version, and I understand your preference. And I actually am doing 40 days of vegan. It's been really hard. You guys are my heroes. I don't know how you do it. I thought maybe I'd catch on because they said after 3 weeks, it's habit forming. And I have to say, it's not like a struggle anymore, but I'm looking forward to getting back to adding dairy products and meat products back into my diet. It's just for me. That's just me. Whatever works for you, works for you. And that's the cool thing about our bodies. Everybody's body is different. So these are my bookend supplements for my brain. And then these are my super supplements. So I don't want just a healthy brain. I don't want just a regular brain. I want a magnificent brain. And to do that, I got to up level a little bit and be targeted in my supplementation. So here we go. Ready? Turmeric, copaiba, and adaptive. These are the super supplements for the brain. The adaptive is going to give you the GABA that you need to balance your emotions. And because if your emotions are out of whack, guess what your body's focused on? Dealing with emotion, dealing with emotion. It's not dealing with anything else. Everything else is taking a back seat. That emotion is like cortisol and craziness and hormone imbalance. And what are we doing with that? So just take one of these as often as you need to and get your proverbial poopy together. Okay, let's just do that. I think it would be good for everyone and for people around us. I need to remember that myself. Copaiba, so much better than that other stuff, that CBD that could be super dangerous and unregulated. And this is what I tell people all the time. doTERRA would jump in if they thought that the CBD was better than anything else. And what they've found is actually copaiba is better. It works through your immune system. It doesn't work through your neurological system. I would not take a narcotic and put it in my neurological system. That's just me. I know I'm going to get all kinds of people saying CBD changed my life. I'm sure it did, but start reading the studies, look at the information, look at what it does to your brain over long term, and consider the milder, gentler sibling, copaiba. All right. And turmeric, the turmerones, the curcuminoids, we know this. We know ancient cultures relied on turmeric for the secret ingredient to all of their delicious foods. And this was the medicine that they used for so many things. So I'm 1 minute over. I apologize. You guys are great. We did start, I think, a little bit late, but I appreciate all of you. And I want you to have the genius brain that you were born to have. You are going to age with a bigger, more robust, healthy brain. We're staying away from dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, loss of memory. We are going to focus in and be healthy. I'm Carrie Donegan. This is Radical Age Reversal. Come back next week and we're going to take a deep dive into the essential oils that really, really help your brain. We can be a little bit more targeted. And we're going to talk more about the book, 30% Happier in 30 Days. Thanks for joining me.